Okay, we are live. Ask me your VA disability questions, VA benefits, really. We'll get a lot of disability questions, obviously, but if you got a question about GI Bill, VRNE, any benefit, state benefits, throw them up. Let's see what we got. It always takes about 2 to 3 minutes. Most awkward time of these streams, always. Oh, cold. All right. What's up, Jacob? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Discerning Dash? Welcome. For those of you who are first in here, if you have a question, I promise you now's the best time to put it up there because it gets backed up pretty quick. It's IBS pun, so. I'm traveling for my real job, okay? I won't give too much details on that. So while I'm traveling, doing some background stuff, I'll hop on live. What do you need to do? Chris, yes. So just in case anyone knows why I'm saying yes to Chris, Chris is a good friend of mine in real life. That answer is yes, Chris. Text me. You got my number. Jacob, I got a question. Is it normal to only have DBQs for 3 things but filed 10? So Jacob, first, it depends on what you filed, right? So if you filed like lower back, thank you very much, Mike Stover. I'll get to you in a second. Thank you for being a member. If you filed lower back and radiculopathy and neck, all that's on the same DBQ. So it depends, right? You also might not have had your C&P exams for those conditions yet. So it just depends, Jacob, what conditions we're actually talking about. First new member of the stream, Mike Stover. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that. For those of you who are interested in becoming a member, right? You don't get anything special. I try my best to do stuff for members. There's a video of my disabilities, and there's gonna be a few other member-only videos coming soon. So, but Mike, let me answer your question real quick. I think you had said something. Nope, you didn't say anything. Thank you. If you do, Mike, I'll see it thrown up in the chat. Killian, thank you very much for the sticker. I appreciate that, brother. Also a patron, for real. Thank you. Okay, let's get back to answering questions here. Okay. Luigi says, thanks, Clay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, Chris, I got you. Send me a text. Not right this second. I'm on stream, but later on. Discerning Dash. So sleep apnea, can you substitute that for daytime sleepiness if you have CPAP? Daytime sleepiness is a symptom of sleep apnea, okay, as well as others. But a diagnosis for sleep apnea, there is no substitution for how the VA rates your conditions. It's the diagnostic code and based on how the VA is going to rate that. So the quick answer of that one is no. Lisa Charles, what do you think the rating would be for a claim for stomach conditions with a diagnosis of GERD, hiatal hernia, and IBS? Yeah, so with the new changes, Lisa, GERD and IBS are going to be separated. If I had to take a wild guess, okay, you're probably, the majority of ratings we're going to see for GERD are probably going to be 10%, probably. And then IBS really depends on your symptoms of abdominal cramps and the constipation and diarrhea. So it depends what your symptoms are, Lisa, not what you're diagnosed with. And that's based off the new changes, all right? Okay, Tony Chaffee says, afternoon, what's up? Mark Scott, should I request increase if I'm P&T? There's no really real reason to, unless it would really push at SMC, which I'm not sure how GERD and IBS would. I assume you're talking about GERD IBS. Mental health, maybe, okay? But to be honest with you, if it's not gonna push another benefit, I wouldn't sweat it, right? So me personally, I'm not going to sweat any of these changes at all. All right, Mark Scott. Oh, no, we answered you. TP, I love that name. If you're in the stream, go ahead and hit the like button. I definitely appreciate it, and I'd love you for it, especially if I answer your question. TP, hello, what is a car review? So a car review is something the VA tried to roll out. They never really rolled it out completely. It's supposed to be a rapid response for higher level reviews within like 30 days or something like that. It's basically nothing, okay? And I wouldn't sweat that. It's just it's a higher level review. That's all it is. And if your VSO doesn't know about it, that's because the VA didn't do a good job at rolling it out to begin with. So you could just take the car review and just ball it up in a little ball and throw it away because no one knows about it. Andrew Calicott, is loss of smell considered loss of use of a creative organ? No, not of a creative organ, so it shouldn't be rated under SMCK is what you're getting at. But loss of smell could be, it's a rated disability, okay? I forgot what it's, I'm going to assume it's low, but I know it's rated disability because I've seen it on one veteran, okay? And that was not related to COVID. All right, Jacob Taylor, sleep apnea, GERD, and headaches. I'm not sure what your question is, Jacob Taylor, if you have one. Oh, it's in reference to your other one. I got a question, is it normal to have only 3 DBQs filed, but filed 10? Sleep apnea, GERD, and headaches. I'm assuming that's the DBQs that you got back. Gabe Olvera says, what's up, Outlaw? How's it going? Question, after 130 days into the VA supplemental claims, VA is sending me to a second CMP exam. I've sent all personal medical evidence for lower back. Very, very common. I don't see a question there, but I'll speak on your comment. It's very common, okay? Supplemental claims, basically the VA has to develop that claim, and that's what the CMP exam is for. It's very hard for me to, comment that without seeing the evidence for myself. All right, Michael Lugo, hi, thanks for all you do. I will submit my BDD in November. Awesome, congrats. I'm glad you're tracking on the BDD claim process. I'm diagnosed with insomnia and prescribed meds to treat. With a new change, I'll be good to submit for a condition. Yeah, so let's talk about the new change with insomnia, which I still have yet to make a video on this. I need to, okay? I got you, Killian, one second. So the change for insomnia, you can still claim insomnia direct. Insomnia is not going away, okay? I know people are saying it is, it's not. You can still claim it direct. The issue with insomnia direct is it's very, insomnia is generally speaking an underlying condition, which gets at the change to insomnia as a secondary condition. So for instance, it's if you have insomnia and you're not sleeping, you're going to develop some other mental health issues, okay? So that's really the basis of the change. But can you still have insomnia as a standalone condition? Yes, you can, and that can be claimed via direct. That's all the change says, okay? That's all the change says. And if that's you, Michael, and you truly do have no other mental health conditions outside of insomnia, then yes, you can be rated for insomnia. Now, if you have anxiety, depression, PTSD, TBI, in a lot of cases, all of that is pretty much the same. So the insomnia change, in my opinion, not a big deal. Okay, not a big deal, in my opinion. Okay, Killian, thank you for being a member. Also, as a member, I'll see your chat and I'll answer your question right here now. So had recent CMP exams and then received new requests for more CMP exams for new conditions that I did not file for. Is this common? It is common. It's actually a good sign, Killian, that the VA maybe saw something or you claimed something that was weird, okay, so to speak. And now the VA just kind of did what I call VA stuff and they scheduled you more CMP exams. It's, generally speaking, it's a good sign. It definitely means the VA is processing your claim, so that's good. PA Political Revolution Podcast. What up, big dog? Says car wreck and military. Been over 20 years since filed. Back, neck, knee, and headaches. Been denied like a chronicity. How do you attack that problem? I would like to see your decision letter, okay? And for anyone, I know it's going to come up at some point, I teamed up with Veterans Helping Veterans Facebook group. So if you want to post your decision letter in that group, that's my recommendation. Definitely redact the PII within that, but we have to understand why you were denied in the first place. I understand it's like a chronicity, but I really need to see the decision letter before giving any advice. Did you go see medical after the car wreck? Right? Was there a diagnosis in service after the car wreck? What diagnosis do you have now? I mean, there's a lot of variables that we simply just don't know when we look at denials. Snyder Health says, hey brother, what up? I've got a question for you. If you submit a condition, can the VA decide on their own to make it secondary even though you submitted it as a primary? Yes, they can. So here's what's supposed to happen, okay? When you submit a claim, the VA will explore all avenues of service connection. So when you say, you'll hear people be like, I submitted IBS secondary to PTSD. I'm not sure why they would deny me direct or deny me PACT Act. It's because they have to. So really, not only were you denied secondary, but you were also denied direct and also denied PACT Act. And I'm just giving you that hypothetical situation, right? Or TARA, excuse me. So yes, the VA will explore all avenues of service connection for whatever it is that you claimed given is warranted, right? You have to have some type of evidence. Hello, Angela. Thank you for being mod. I definitely appreciate that. All right, Robert Briggs says, if I have IMO DBQ from my psychiatrist, should I give it to my CMP examiner? You should upload that with your claim, and then you should upload that to the CMP exam company. Whenever they reach out to you, there's a way to upload evidence to them. And then, yes, I would absolutely have that discussion saying that you have a completed DBQ from a psychiatrist, DO, whatever that psychiatrist looks like for you. Victor Garza. So I did CMP in January, anxiety secondary to tinnitus. Do you think the VA is waiting for May to compare their ratings with the new system? No. So one, the May effective date is for GERD and IBS. Ain't got nothing to do with anxiety and tinnitus. Two, the changes for tinnitus as an underlying condition don't change the fact that you can still have secondary stemming out of tinnitus. That fact remains the same, whether it was changed or not, okay? Tinnitus isn't like the insomnia change. It's just it's a symptom change. That's it. So tinnitus isn't going away. Whoever's saying tinnitus is going away isn't reading the proposal, okay? Now, if the final comes back and it says different, we'll look at it. But as of the proposal, as of right now, it's not. Okay, Nav65. Is it possible to get a 50% rating for migraines even if the 4 Bravo box was not checked off the DBQ for completely prostrating headaches? Submitted work logs to show time taken off affecting economic and adaptability. Okay, so the answer is yes, but it's not as clear cut, okay? So if you have like 5 or 6 completely prostrating migraines, the answer is yes. Now, the question is, do you have the evidence to support that? Because if you don't, then whatever the CMP examiner found in the exam becomes the hard, solid truth. If you don't have evidence to combat that, hard medical evidence, not self-reports, medical evidence, okay? So your log that you have is a self-report, okay? But regardless, if it comes back, I would recommend you do a higher level review and have a rater take a look at your situation, especially because you have the workload, right? It's definitely worth a shot. Antonio Brasil, I hope I said that right. I probably did not. I'm white from Kentucky. Thank you very much for being a member. I definitely appreciate that. For the 2 new members that did join, there's a video on my channel for members only that goes over my disabilities and the evidence I use for those conditions. Okay, Alan Hurd, I was hoping to use obesity as an intermediate step for my sleep apnea. Letter said it was not. Well, if it wasn't, what's your evidence to combat the reason why it's not? And this is a hard truth. I'm going to say this, and I know it's going to make someone mad, okay? Anytime someone comes to me and talks about obesity as an intermediate step, completely possible. Completely possible, right? The question is, are you obese due to your service-connected disabilities, right? Like your severe knee conditions, your severe back conditions, wherever that looks like for you? Or are you obese because it's a lack of diet and a lack of exercise, right? The VA is going to err on these two. So you have to show evidence that that's not the case. So my question to you is, what's your evidence? Option C with an asterisk. Thank you very much, brother. I definitely appreciate that. $10 donation with a little LOL sticker. Thank you. Thank you very much. If you have a question, please let me know. I'll go ahead and answer it now. Jimmy K, how do you become a member? I have no idea, to be honest with you. I have zero idea. I assume the option's there. I just kind of set this thing up and roll with it. I can't see what the viewer sees. I only see what from the creator's perspective. But I assume it's there, because I've never told anyone how to become a member. Okay, Chalkius161. VA keeps combining my claims. Should I continue to submit new or wait until previous claims are completed? Yeah, so the VA is going to do VA stuff, and we don't have an input to that, right? You don't get to choose what is roped and what's roped together and what's not. It just depends on what you're talking about specifically. I would like to know what your claims are, if you care to share. If not, no big deal. But if you write down your claims, we could tell you which ones would be roped and which ones would not, at least from a general perspective, okay? All right, Veteran Hundo Club, would you be willing to working with a non-profit? I would be, absolutely. So I did some work with Del K. Graham, which actually I need to email someone back, not from Del K. Graham, from another nonprofit, and I'm gonna make a note of that. But yeah, if the cards are right and the mission set's there, sure, why not? Why not? I promote veteran businesses all the time and get nothing. Like the Gardener's Garden thing I did on the one-on-one video. If it's a veteran-owned business, I would definitely promote that. If it's a non-profit that is mission-oriented and that falls in line with what I believe, sure, why not? We're not gatekeeping over here. Easy Diz It says, how can I claim insomnia if it can't be secondary? Well, it has to be direct. That's pretty much the only answer. Your insomnia claim must be direct. And really, when you're looking at insomnia direct, first, if you have insomnia, you probably have an underlying condition or a overarching condition anyways, which gets at the point of insomnia. Man, I just said a lot. Which gets at the point where the VA removes insomnia as a secondary condition, but you can still claim it direct. Yeah, send me an email. I actually think I did see your email now that you say that. Send me another one, okay? My email has 1,000 unread emails, 1,000 plus. Send me another one. We'll see what we got. All right, Dennis Barry says, I just got awarded 100% for TDIU, but I'm missing $1,000 for my back pay. My lawyer sent a request to the VA to investigate, but can I go to the regional office and ask any questions? You can, right? Personally, I would call the regional office, especially if you're far away. But if your accredited rep is already on it, that's probably good enough. But sure, if you're in a time crunch, you can absolutely call the regional office. You can go there if you want. Completely your prerogative. All right, Tyler says hi. What up? Andres Luna says, hello, Clay. 100% P&T here. Awesome, congrats. We'll continue to watch and support to help you grow and to keep my knowledge base to help others. Thank you for what you do. Thank you. I appreciate that. Congrats to you. And, anyone that's out there that is already 100% PNT, I ask what, if you want to pay it forward, that's the goal, right? Pay it forward. Just make sure we're giving good knowledge to veterans. One of my pet peeves is when a veteran says, well, this is what I did and here's what worked for me, but it was such like a niche scenario and they're kind of missing the meat and potatoes of their actual evidence because no two claims are the same. So stick within 38 CFR, you'll be all right. Melvin Allen Jr. says, have you heard of anything about a secondary for liver transplant to medications used for spinal fusion and disc replacement? To answer your question, have I heard anything about it? No. But if you have a service-connected disability that required any other follow-on operations to include a transplant, that can also be service-connected as well, right? And that's more of a very serious, very severe type condition. But yeah, if it's due to a service-connected disability, 1,000% yes. The answer is always yes. All right, Kellyanne, thank you for being a member. He says, I am definitely trying to work my way to provide assistance and hopefully partner with you moving forward. So I have a crazy, I'll answer that, I'll say something and then I'll get back to answering questions. I have a crazy dream someday to make a nonprofit outside of CivDiv, a nonprofit that essentially helps veterans with claims but free, right? So the same business model as a claims consulting company, same exact one, but free. I'm not doing a backflip, you're wild, but free, okay? I'm not sure how, what that process would look like, but that's like the big dream, okay? Everything a claims consulting company provides, but free. That would be the dream. So if it happens, I'll let you know. All right, Sixth Savior. I have a keratosis skin condition coming up. I've had them since deployment in 2007, but just now getting this done. Any tips for skin disease DBQ? Also, I can't find anything about the potential rating. So skin conditions are very weird. They're generally going to be 0% or 10 unless we're talking like serious like burns, okay? Or like very severe acne or eczema. Or like pseudobarbe. Those are your general skin conditions. Any tips for skin diseases, DBQ? Yeah, so they're going to look at what portion of your body is covered by the skin, okay? Yes, Veteran Hundo Club. I definitely remember your email now. I will get with you if that's the case. But yes, it's based off of the amount of your body that's covered up, okay? And I want to say it's like 40%. But I would Google, for you, Sixth Savior, Google skin conditions, 38 CFR, ECFR, and it'll pop up and you can word search your skin condition. All right. Taraya Douse, probably butchered that. I apologize. Thank you for the donation. I definitely appreciate that. Says, what do you do when you can't find a doc that is willing to do a Nexus letter DBQ? My mental health provider refuses to touch them. Yeah, so I hate this. I'm going to answer you, but I hate this question. Thank you very much, Live Life, up to Lance Corporal. I appreciate that. And thank you very much, Real Mr. Obvious One, for being a member. Welcome to the channel. Members only I have a video of my disabilities, okay? And the evidence I use for those. And then I also have a video that you can comment below. If there's any topics you want me to cover, I'll either answer your question right then and there, but the idea is I can make a video based on member requests. I'm trying to do more for members. That's the plan, at least, okay? Okay, back to you, Taraya Douse. I'm just gonna call you TD. I hate this question because I will get to you, Real Mr. Obvious, and right after this. I hate this question because Nexus letters and DBQs is such a controversial topic, and I'll give you my 2 cents on it, okay? Before I answer your question, I want to say this. I wouldn't recommend a independent medical opinion, a Nexus letter, or a private DBQ unless the veteran has both of these. One, you've been denied, and two, you have the evidence. The evidence is the only thing that builds the Nexus. That's it, nothing else. So you can see if you don't have the evidence, there's no reason to get the Nexus, okay? That's my personal opinion. Now, to answer your question, okay, about what do you do if your medical team won't complete one? What sucks is if you really want one, you have to go outside and go private, all right? Now, personally, I'm a big fan of Dr. Sharma. You can go to TheCivDiv online. I'm very transparent about that partnership. You can look at that. You can also go to any other provider. Now, my personal advice and opinion is to, if you're going to pay for something, go to the top dog. So, for instance, mental health, which is what you're talking about, I would go to a psychiatrist, right? Can you go to a psychologist or like an NP? The answer is yes, you can. But if you're going to pay for it, you might as well go to the top dog, because had that claim be denied with a medical opinion, there's various weights to that. And a psychiatrist, like a DO, is going to weigh in heavily on that mental health Nexus letter and DBQ. That's my personal opinion. Okay, take it or leave it, completely your choice. But that's the answer to your question, and I hate that answer because Nexus letter forms are never a good idea. Okay, Real Mr. Obvious says, what is the VA calculation for combined rating? As an example, I was 70%. I filed for the PACT Act. I was granted 30. Now I have a combined 80%. That's only 10% increase. Oh, man. Yeah, so you're talking VA math, Real Mr. Obvious. So let's say you're a hard, complete 70%. That's it. Not 71, not 69, you're 70. Which means you have 30% left. That 30% is equaling back to 100. So 100% of that 30% is 30%, okay? If that confuses you, I'm sorry. We have a video on VA Math Explained, but here's my synopsis. You have 30% left. You got a rating for 30%. So what is 30% of that 30 that is left? Okay? And it equals out to, what is that? Less than 10%. So 10, 10, and 10 is 30. What's 30% of 30 at 100 rate? Probably like 8.9 or something like that. 9.2. 9.3. 9.333 is what it would be. And so that would make your rating 79%, rounded to 80. That's why. Okay? If that confused you, don't worry about it. VA Math confuses everyone. We got another member on the channel. This is the most members I've ever had, ever. That's like the 5th new one. Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Seriously. Everyone that became a member today, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay. Man, I don't even know what to say. Don't even know what to say. Side note, Chris Gutierrez is a personal friend of mine, so don't, if he says something weird, don't worry about it. It's funny. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Angela. Definitely appreciate that. All right, JB, thank you very much. Okay, let's get back to answering questions, okay? I will answer your question, special gesture, right after this. Cataway Wadi says, hi, Clay, sent you an email. I know it says business only, but I'm hoping you might have some pin your network. Thank you. I can't answer my email anymore because there's over 1,000 unread emails. But if you want help on your claim, I would recommend Veterans Helping Veterans. You'll find that in the description of this video. It's a Facebook group. I'm also a mod in there. You can tag me if you want me to answer your questions. That's fine. But join that Facebook group. Answer the questions. Okay. Answer the questions to join. Tag me if you want, and I'll answer your stuff there. Okay. I just can't. The email's not manageable. I can't do it. Okay. Special gesture. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It says, I have a claim since September that I didn't even know about. It's in the evidence gathering phase. I guess my doctor submitted it while I have an exam. Yeah, so your doctor didn't submit the claim. Okay, someone submitted the claim. It's either you or your accredited rep. Hopefully. That'd be really bad if that's not the case. I guess my doctor submitted it while I have an exam. You will most likely have a CMP exam for whatever condition it is that was submitted on your behalf or that you submitted. Right? If you tell me what condition that was, if it wasn't you, then it was your accredited rep. Okay. If it wasn't your accredited rep, it's for TBI. Yeah. So for TBI, you're gonna want to look at the mental health. I haven't spoken to my rep in years. It might be a routine future exam, maybe. I don't know, Jester. This is weird, okay? Based on this comment, it is weird, but it sounds like a rep or someone submitted a claim for you and it's a claim for TBI. No big deal. You're gonna have an exam for TBI. You go through the CMP exam process for TBI. Mental health is gonna be a part of that. That's it. I wouldn't freak out at all whatsoever. Everything looks fine. Based on this comment alone, all of that looks fine. Okay. A double. Is there any indication the VA will add insomnia as criteria to disabilities previously allowed as secondary insomnia? That is such a good question. Probably the best question I'm going to have on this live all day. That answer is no, there's not any indication. Outside of if you look at the M21 changes for insomnia as a secondary or direct, thank you, Angela, hit the like button. If you get value from this, just hit the like button. I would love you forever. But for instance, like back, if you claimed insomnia secondary to your back, based on the M21, it says the insomnia will just be roped under your back and not rated as a separate condition. Okay, no big deal. Well, is there going to be a criteria for insomnia secondary? The answer is no at all. There's zero indication of that happening, and I wouldn't expect that to happen. But the way it's worded, it on the M21 implies that there is a secondary rating criteria for insomnia, but there's not, right? Because it goes into like the symptoms of the primary disability that's claimed, which makes insomnia a symptom of that underlying condition. So the answer to your question is no, but I would absolutely love to ask that question to whoever's in charge of making these changes, really. That's a great question, though. Alan Hurd says, Doc Sharma is the best, working with him on another issue. Hey, that's awesome. Appreciate that. Solid dude. Live life. Is chronic pain for service-connected issues? I didn't see your chat earlier. I apologize for that. Live life. Is chronic pain for service-connected issues? Chronic pain is chronic pain, okay? It can come from service-connected disabilities. And you'll really see chronic pain, like if you have severe knee conditions that are rated, if you have a severe back that's rated, you have flat feet that are severe at 50%. Pretty strong argument to go chronic pain linked to your mental health, okay? That'd be a good argument for a mental health secondary. Excuse me. All right, Bruce Bjorkland, apologize for that. Thank you for being a member. I appreciate that. Says, I'm 100% temporary, rated for prostate cancer. I've been diagnosed with anxiety and depression due to cancer. Also diagnosed with CSA. Can I file mental health issues secondary? Yes, you absolutely can. And yes to your second question. Yes times 1,000. The answer is yes. Okay, that's a solid claim. Very good argument. And I'm sure you've been diagnosed. I'm sure you have evidence for that. It looks like, just from this comment alone, it looks like a strong claim. Live life. Has anyone looked into partnering with medical schools around the country to provide medical research on topics veterans need for their claims? Probably not, because veterans is such a small population compared to the masses. I'm not sure about that. B-Buck, the answer is yes. You can get an ID. 1,000% you can get an ID. Okay. VHIC, the VHIC would be the best route to go. Tyler says, think I'm diagnosed with cancer. I would go get the diagnosis, and depending on what cancer that looks like, there are tons of cancers that are presumptive if you served a military period. So depending on how that plays out, could be very good for you VA benefit wise. Suck for your health, but good VA benefit wise. All right, is it too late to claim sleep apnea? I remember you said something about February 15. No, not at all. I don't know what February 15 comes into play. That's probably when I posted the video. But no, you can claim sleep apnea. It's absolutely fine, and it will be a solid claim, assuming you have the evidence. Nothing changes for that at all. All right, Antonio Brazil. Okay, I got you, Antonio. You have my full attention. All right, 1, thank you for being a member. 2, thank you for the donation. So, hello, Clay. I have a long question, part 1 of 5. While in the Marine Corps, 06, I was having health issues, which took over a year to get a diagnosis, and was sent to the Wizard. Got it. Just totally tracking what the Wizard is in the Marine Corps. It's funny you say Wizard, because I know we're on the same page. To see if my health issue was connected to mental health, I told the psychiatrist I had no anxiety or depression because I was paranoid. The Marines in my platoon telling me the whole time I was faking my health issue, was trying to get out of the Marine Corps. They told me they hoped the Wizard would find out I was lying. Okay. 18 years later, I now have a psychiatrist, and she's saying I definitely have anxiety and depression from my time in service. If I file a claim when my records being in service cancel out. No, they won't. Okay, so a veteran's statement of denying a diagnosis, I'm not saying it can't be used, because it can, but it's not a good argument to deny your claim at all, because you're not a medical professional, right? We can't diagnose ourselves, and we can't undiagnose ourselves. And I would be willing to bet, just based off of these 5 comments here, that you probably have a diagnosis in service. Okay? Probably. Yolanda, what's up? But Antonio, it sounds like you have a solid claim. I would absolutely submit that claim. Okay? Option C, thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate it. I can file BDD 20 years this August out of Hawaii. Okay, awesome. Could I use an out-of-state VSO? If so, any recommendations? We're moving retired back to Northern Virginia this December. I live in Northern Virginia. That's not where I'm at right now, but I live in Northern Virginia. So congrats to your retirement. BDD this August, you can. It depends on which VSO you're talking to. So I can tell you Del K. Graham will help veterans online from the comfort of your couch. You can absolutely do that. They're based out of Oklahoma. Just go to delkgrahamveteransfoundation.org, and they will help you out. If you just Google DKGVF, Del K. Graham Veterans Foundation, it'll pop up. Start a claim with them. The answer is yes. I'm sure there are more VSOs out there that do online, that help veterans online. But yeah. Thank you, Option C. Appreciate that. And congrats on your retirement. Antonio, awesome. Thank you very much. Mike Stover, thank you for being a member. Do you know that if you get a settlement from the Kent Lejeune Water Act, will they take some of your compensation? No. No, they won't. Dude, first of all, everyone, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay? Thank you. Seriously, I'm overwhelmed a bit. Thank you very much. Special Gesture, thank you very much, says, I just looked it up and saw my VA therapist on the same day the claim was submitted. Any thoughts on that? Yeah, man. No one submitted your claim from your healthcare team. That I can assure you. Okay? That didn't happen. Unless you're going in for like some major surgery, and they're doing like a temp 100%. Outside of that, the answer is no. Yeah, someone submitted that claim. Okay. If you have an accredited rep, you can just call the VA and ask who submitted that claim on your behalf. But it sounds something sketchy is going on there. It's very odd. Yeah, I can see. That sucks. You know, TAP and TRS isn't always the best. Depends on what station or what base you're at. Okay. AC Gad Art, thank you very much for being a member. Dude, we're hitting our member. We're going crazy today. Thank you very much. Seriously. Thank you. For the new members, you'll see a video on my channel, 2 videos that are members only. One's my disabilities and the evidence I used. The other is a video where you can comment, and if there's a subject you want me to cover, I'll make a video on it, right? And if it's like a super niche scenario, I'll just answer your question. But if it's broad, I'll make a whole video just for you. Okay. I don't know option C because it doesn't show me. All right, it's all good. Says, could you briefly explain the differences in a current diagnosis versus a DBQ? Yeah, so the current diagnosis is going to be on the DBQ. The DBQ is many things. One, the current diagnosis, it's mainly going to be I'm trying to explain it in my own words. A DBQ is a foundation for the Nexus. Okay, because it looks at your medical records, and I say I mean the examiner does while completing the DBQ. There's rationale. There's a remark section below. That's normally where examiners will put their rationale. And the DBQ is like a methodical version of the 38 CFR on how that condition is rated and your symptom severity. So the DBQ is many things where your diagnosis will be on it, the severity of your symptoms will be there, and then as well as the rationale from the examiner, because at the very top, it talks about medical records reviewed. All right. Yeah, Mr. Frag, I'm just going in order unless members chime in. But I will get to everyone's questions. I have a meeting in about 2 hours, so before that, I mean, we got about an hour and a half to do this. All right. Yeah, blink twice if you're being held in a nondescript motel room. Nope, I'm just traveling for my real job. YouTube's not my full-time job, something I do on the side. So I'll work a full day, I'll deal with kids, I'll do YouTube. That's every day of my life. Mark Scott, my issue is for my back. I'm looking to get 60% service connected for my back for SMCS. So if your spine is frozen in an unfavorable position, that's where you'll see the ratings higher than 40. If not, and you're looking at range of motion without prescribed bed rest, you're probably looking at 40, and that's the max for range of motion, unless you're talking about like paralysis. So heads up, might not be 60%. Just giving you a heads up. I have a whole video on how the back's rated that goes way more in depth in that. Grace Smith says, is it true that the ICD codes must match the severity of symptoms in order to actually receive benefits to match up with the CFR? There's a correlation that you made there that doesn't exist. I'll get to that in a second. A double, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. I don't see a question from you. If you have a question though, just type it up real quick and I'll spot it right now. Thank you, A double. Appreciate that. All right, Grace Smith. So ICD is an international classification of diseases. It's like the consensus on diagnosis internationally, okay? Which is its own thing. Ain't got nothing to do with the DBQ, okay? Now, a part of your diagnosis, and there's a little part for ICD codes there as well, they will look at your symptom severity. So the symptoms of that diagnosis, which is on the DBQ, it has to match up, right? So if you have, let's say something stupid, right? If you're claiming, you can't say heartburn is a symptom of your knee condition, right? Because it's not there. So the answer to your question is yes, kind of. But the symptoms have to match the diagnosis for sure. And yes, those symptoms need to be accounted for by 38 CFR, which is kind of where we see the new GERD rating system right now, where the new GERD rating system that's effective May 19th talks about esophageal stricture, which is tightening of the throat, okay? But it doesn't talk about anything else, which could be very favorable if you fall into that category, but if you don't, then it's not. So the answer to your question is yes, technically. All right. Oliver Bustamante says, do you know any vets lose their 100% P&T after getting new claims? I have never met a single veteran at 100% P&T lose their P&T, ever. I've talked, some of my friends are raters. None of them have ever lost or seen anyone lose 100% P&T, ever. Okay, ever. All right, Angela. I'm seeing a chiropractor. Thank you for being a member and a mod. I appreciate that. Angela, if you see someone that needs the whip, Angela is the whip giver, okay? I'm seeing a chiropractor at the VA because of cervical pain. I am rated for cervical strain. Should I get an increase or file chronic pain for that? VA took x-rays. So Angela, one, it's good you're getting current evidence. That's good. Two, it depends on where your neck is rated at right now, okay? Your cervical spine, where it's rated at right now. And then what your symptoms are that would show cause for the increase. That's first and foremost, okay? So if you believe your symptoms would match the higher criteria, which is probably going to be based on range of motion, that's what it sounds like. The answer is yes, okay? Greg Honig, thank you. What's up, Greg? Appreciate it. Appreciate you joining my the stream. For what it's worth, it does not happen. It does happen, but not often. An example was someone granted ALS at 100% that didn't meet VA's definition for better. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so if your cervical strain's at 30%, which is a solid rating, I'm not saying don't increase it, okay? That's not what I'm saying at all. But look at the rating criteria on how cervical strain is rated. Then if you meet that criteria, 30% is solid. If you have nerve damage stemming down your arms from that, I would explore that as well. Okay. Stephen M. says, hello, Clay. What's up? Can a vet be rated for both asthma and sleep apnea at the highest rating for both? No. Okay? 9 times out of 10, those are going to be combined. Same with COPD. Sleep apnea, asthma, and COPD, all one rating. Now, in some cases, and there's a CFR code, I totally forgot what it is, but in some cases, the VA can award a higher rating for a both combination of sleep apnea and asthma, okay? And that's a real thing. I've seen it happen twice. So, it's definitely not common. The common is you'll be rated, 50% for the CPAP. Okay, Frank Bandy says, do they automatically give you bilateral factor? Nope, you automatically get that. It's accounted for in your rating decision. No reason to ask for bilateral. A lot of VA disability channels always say, don't poke the bear. But no one of their channels ever interview a veteran losing their P&T or reduction. That's because they don't exist. Okay, Angela, no reason to do that, Angela. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, Oliver. Don't poke the bear. That statement holds true. If you're 100% P&T, there's no benefit. If there is no benefit to claim more things, then don't. Now, if that opens a window to various SMCs, okay, then sure, go for it. But if not, there's no, why? For instance, I'm not going to change my IBS rating or my mental health rating when the changes come out. Not going to happen. I'm going to sit back and do nothing. Yeah, exactly what Greg said. So the sleep apnea, to answer your question, Frank, or no, that wasn't Frank. Who? Stephen M. 38 CFR 4.96. If you really want to read that code there. But probably not. Okay, Tracy Nichols says, "Hey Clay, your channel is really bright in my knowledge. Awesome, thank you very much. I'm curious, why are there so many channels on here claiming 100% ratings? And is there free help anywhere?" There's free help. Yeah. So here's your options of free help. Okay. One is a VSO. It's accredited VSO. I'm personally a fan of. Now, do some shopping. You're gonna have to find a good VSO, and that's gonna be determined by you and your situation. But shop around for a VSO. Two, YouTube is free, right? So even like VA Claims Insider YouTube, watching their videos are free. Now, signing on board with them, different story, but they do put out accurate information, okay? Now, do they plug their stuff? Obviously, yes. But it's free, so that's also a free option. You can go to, my personal favorite is Veterans Benefits on Reddit, right? That's my personal favorite, but you can go to like Facebook groups if you want. There's a Facebook group in this description of this video. They're pretty solid Facebook group if you need help, but keep in mind, take comments with a grain of salt, right? Always advocate for yourself and understand the process as it fits your situation. You don't have to understand everything, just your situation. Yeah, Victor, thank you. No worries, man. Andy M says, "Do I need a buddy statement for tinnitus?" No, you do not, okay? You don't need a buddy statement for anything, ever. Now, sometimes they are a good idea, okay? But tinnitus, in my opinion, is not one of them. You either got it or you don't. And depending on your environments deployed or your MOS, it's generally a very easy claim. You still need a big three, but that big three is pretty easy to make. Okay, Wake Dog. What's up, Wake Dog? Thank you for the donation. I definitely appreciate it. Wake Dog says, "Hey there, I've been a disabled Air Force veteran since 2005. Can I get back pay for having a defibrillator that was rated at 10 versus 100 back in 2021? I went to VSO and had medical appointments to fight it." Generally speaking, I'm going to say no. Okay, I would have to understand your evidence, and you would have to show proof of a clear, unmistakable error for that, which is generally going to need a attorney. But if you think you have an argument for that much of back pay, my genuine recommendation to anyone dealing with a lot of back pay is to talk to an accredited attorney. Okay, you're talking years and years and years of back pay. That's really where that accredited rep, attorney specifically, is going to shine. And if you think that's what you're owed, then absolutely you can, for sure. Okay, 1,000,000,000%. Just know it's rare. It's not common. All right, Sir Michael, for $5 donation. Thank you very much, Sir Michael. Appreciate that. If you have a question, because I don't see a question from you, Sir Michael, if you want to throw it in the chat now, would be a great time so I can actually answer your question. I see one from you, but just go ahead and type it again just in case there's more than one. But you say, "I had to submit my intent to file, and also the rep knows that I was not fully informed on my right for a characteristic change." Okay, at the start, we're getting a little shady because I'm going to assume you have a discharge that's a bit sketchy, okay? But with that, if you have an intent to file and you have that discharge upgrade and you rate VA benefits, then sure, go for it, 1,000,000,000%, okay? Tons of veterans, not tons, a good amount of veterans get discharge upgrades and apply for VA benefits, okay? Yeah, so to answer your question, Sir Michael, the answer is yes, and a lot of veterans do go the discharge upgrade route to rate VA benefits. Tracy M, thank you very much for the $5 donation. Appreciate that. It says, "My dad was rated 0% gastrointestinal symptoms in 2016. Is that rated as GERD?" Yes. I'm trying to help him file for GERD or increase. So yes, He's already rated at 0%. My advice to you right now, looking at these changes and just based off of this comment, I would leave this live, trace CM, and I would file the increase today. Okay, as fast as you can, do it today. The changes based on this comment alone are not going to be in your favor. So you want to get that increase in for sure. Sir Michael, the VA would be the best route to do that, but you can look at the National Archives. But I've heard some horror stories on getting your records from there. All right, Nav, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Mr. Williams says, is chronic pain a syndrome a claimable thing? It is. Chronic pain is a real thing, okay? As well as chronic fatigue syndrome. I'm going to assume that's what you mean. Yes, and it can be presumptive as well under an MUCMI. It's kind of presumptive because it's going to require an opinion. So, okay, awesome. All right, Carolina Dude says, hello, Clay. What up? Thanks for all you do. Does an intent to file cover you with the new changes with Insomnia? Yes. Devil Bear, mine is because I received a trachs while I was serving. I don't know what you're talking about. If you're talking about that thing that goes in your throat, that's wild. All right. Clean Music Lover, how can I request medical records from a different command? I was TAD2. So medical records aren't command specific, they're service specific. If you're already out, you're going to have to reach out to your service through National Archives, and it's service dependent. Okay, I got another one-on-one happening in about an hour and a half, so I'm gonna dip out before that, so we can still got some time. Steve Jackson says, so my insomnia pathway to tinnitus is gone. Yes. What if I have my intent to file sent a couple weeks ago? Still gone. It's gone. Gone. Outlaw, thank you very much. I appreciate that. No need for both Patreon and the subscription for YouTube, but thank you very much. I appreciate that, brother. Feel free to cancel one or the other, either. Keep both. Doesn't matter. Your choice. On my Patreon, it's more focused towards like healthcare stuff. If you care about my healthcare routine stuff. Okay. CR22. What if I got out in 2015 and never filed even an intent letter? Nothing. That means that you need to file one right now and start gathering your evidence to submit your claims. You need to figure out what you need to submit. I would treat your situation like a BDD as far as the 4 steps to a BDD claim process. Go to CivDiv online, click BDD, you'll find it. Now you don't get the same, leeway as a BDD, but it still allows you to write down all your conditions, gather your evidence, and then submit your claims. That's really the point there. Devil's Bear. All right, E. Brown J says, can you file an intent to file while you have a current claim in? Yes, you absolutely can. All right, Steve Jackson says, when will we have a list of where Agent Orange was stored? There is a list, okay? It was introduced February 25th, something like that. I'll have to cover that. Jason and I covered that on Veterans Daily about a week ago. But yeah, it exists. It hasn't been passed yet, okay, but it exists somewhere. Mr. Frag Out says, I'm currently rated for hiatal hernia. If the VA rates me under GERD that I'm now asking for an increase, can I still independently be rated for a hiatal hernia, or will this go away? So it depends on what your symptoms are, right? So right now we're talking GERD. I'm going to assume you have GERD. The answer is, because you have the claim in now, you're probably going to be rated off of the current criteria, so the answer is no. Is radiculopathy and sciatica rated the same? Yeah, same. There are different types of nerve damage. Radiculopathy is one of them, okay? But same. The VA will take the highest, right? So if you have like neuralgia, I think is one, or paralysis in your nerves, the VA will take the highest of the ratings. The most common is radiculopathy, where like it'll go numb and tingle, but it's not paralyzed, which is a good thing. CR22, how do you get over the worry that you're getting something someone else might need more than you? Yeah, let's tackle this one real quick. So first, CR22, that's not how VA benefits work, okay? From October of last year, so about 6 months ago, the VA processed 1 million claims. You're either going to submit your claim and be a part of it or not, meaning people are going to get their benefits no matter what you do. If you have conditions that you believe are service connected, my recommendation to you, to anyone else out there, would be to gather your evidence and submit your evidence-based claim. Evidence meaning the big three. Nexus, not required to have a private Nexus letter, so really I focus on the two, but that's your in-service events, so evidence from service, then your current diagnosis. Then obviously every claim needs a Nexus, but that'll be provided by your CMP examiner. All right. If this is value added, hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. Hit the like button. Okay, Mark Urick says, I got my mental health CMP this morning for PTSD. All right. Nervous about it. Got diagnosed PTSD, anxiety, and depression about 3 months ago by VA. Been actively in treatment weekly through VA and on meds. Got out in 2013. Okay, so current evidence looks great. You have the diagnosis. I assume there's some symptoms involved with that. My only question is, what is your in-service event? Now, because you're diagnosed with PTSD, I'm assuming that event came from service. If that's the claim, based on this comment, your claim looks very strong, okay? Now, I'm saying that making some assumptions, but they're probably good assumptions. All right, Kobe played defense too. That's funny. I'm a big basketball fan. My guy, what's up? Trying to get 100% mental health. I know most don't talk about 100% mental health. Yeah, so the new rating criteria is going to be a bit easier for that. But let's talk the rating schedule right now. Easy is not the right word. Because if you have the symptoms and you rate, then sure, go for it. But there's it has to be severe, okay? And really, on current criteria, you're looking at total social and occupational impairment. Outside the VA rating schedule, it would be known as something called like a serious mental illness or an SMI. So it's serious. Like you will know if that's you or not. And if it is, gather your evidence and go for it. Yeah, Outlaw says, let's shut down the claim sharks and educating ourselves. Yes, Outlaw. Absolutely. And thank you for being a member. I appreciate that. And for being mission focused. That's the mission. Yeah, Mark, based on your stressor, yeah, you have a solid claim. All right, Sarah P, is it easier to connect Raynaud's syndrome as a secondary or primary under PACT Act deployed to Iraq in 2004? Okay, I did look this up once. It's definitely not common. Let me look this up real quick. Raynaud's. All right, so in reference to PACT Act, which I don't recall, cardiovascular system 4.104. I don't see anything in there specific about PACT Act. I'm gonna say no based off of I want you to fact check me, okay? Because I'm just searching it up really quick. It doesn't seem like it. doesn't seem like it's a presumptive condition. Yeah, I don't see anything indicating it's presumptive. Okay, fact check me on that, okay? Because I just did that quick, but to what I just did and what I looked at, the answer is no. All right, CR22, 9 years too long to have waited to file. Sleep apnea is my main one. Study done in service in CPAP issued. Then yes, submit that claim. That would be one claim you would put on your list. Gray Smith, so with that said, so you file for, I don't know what you're talking about, AC GAD R. Should I go for increase for existing condition as a start? If you're looking at I'm going to say my 5-step process, it's just a 5-step process. Increases are the easiest, okay? Then personally, I would go, the order in which I would do things would be increases, secondaries, denials, new conditions, presumptives. And you're not submitting those one by one, you're doing it all together. That's what I would do. Okay, Jimmy K just got SMCS, congrats. After all the increases, my lawyer recommended I withdraw my increase for hearing loss and tinnitus. I have no idea why. Is that the right call? Sure, I mean, I'm gonna assume you're 100% P&T. I'm gonna assume you have SMCS. Tinnitus is capped at 10 anyways, and hearing loss is probably gonna be 0%, so I'm not gonna say no, because you know, I have to rely on your lawyer's recommendation because I don't see your evidence. So my recommendation, Jimmy K, is just follow your accredited rep. You have the SMCS. Congrats. You have to see Big B. Thank you. I appreciate it. Viper B77 says, would like to piggyback on that and hear more about PACT Act in Korea. Well, you won't, because there's not. I mean, outside of Agent Orange, Korea's roped into that as well, but there's none. You're not going to find anything on Korea. Sorry. Don't trade on me. Question, every CMP examiner has given me 100%, but they keep denying me 100%. Okay. I'm getting sent to the same TBI doc that gave me 100% in the first time. Any advice? Yeah, so symptom severity is one thing, service connection is another. And so if you're being denied service connection, we need to know why you're being denied. It's going to be in-service event, current diagnosis, and the Nexus. So it's going to be a combination of one, at least one of those, probably two. So I have to know that before even going forward with giving advice. NS1, is it smart to submit all your conditions in one claim? Viewer just told me to do that. Yeah. Yeah, anyone telling you not to submit all of your evidence-based claims, you should take their advice and throw it down the toilet, okay? I know who's saying that. There's two people really that's saying that. It does not make any sense whatsoever. If you have the evidence, submit the claim. That's it. Period. Period, period, period. All right. Hey, Clay, is that? Yeah, okay, we answered that one. Yeah, thanks, Greg. Appreciate that. Okay. Cheers. Let me get back to questions here. Thanks for all your hard work, Clay. Thank you. I'm stuck at 90%, but still fighting. Yeah, so JTP, for anyone at 90 specifically, this applies to everyone, but really those at 90. What I would do is go watch one of my one-on-ones. I have 3 of them up. I'm doing another one today, but I want you to see how I kind of like tackle or like surgically dissect someone's claim situation, okay? It's a 5-step process that I use, and if you can replicate that, that's how you do it, right? So first I look at what you're connected for and then look at increases. Okay, not just, I'm going to increase everything. It's, okay, well, what do you want an increase for? Let's look into that. Second thing is going to be secondaries, which is a bit difficult. If you have any current diagnosis that can be linked to any service-connected disability, whoa, that was a big one. You need to look at that, okay? The third is denials. Is there anything you were denied? This is the hardest part, but if you were denied, why were you denied, okay? And do you have the evidence to combat that denial? If the answer is yes, you know what to do. Then look at new conditions, which doesn't often happen, but if you overlook something from service that you have a current diagnosis for, submit. And then obviously presumptive conditions. And that's your 5-step process right there. That's how you go from 90 to 100. Okay, Sin Ombre, what's up? Thank you for the donation, I appreciate it. Can PTSD be presumptive? No. Or need diagnosed before CMP? 1,000,000,000%. I'm gonna recommend every claim ever has a diagnosis before you have your exam, before you submit the claim. Now, is it required? No. The CMP examiner can and will give you a diagnosis. But I'm on the fence of don't leave it up to the examiner, okay? But hey, I'm going to assume you submitted your claim already and you're relying on the CMP examiner. Not a big deal. Don't freak out, okay? It's fine. Just not recommended. PTSD from AFib caused by COVID shots. Went to ER multiple times while in. Heart surgery conditions causes nervous breakdowns. That might be a difficult argument. I'm not sure on the evidence related to that. When I say evidence, I mean studies related to that. But to answer your question on presumption, the answer is no. Okay. Is it possible? Yes. For anyone out there, I would never recommend submitting a claim without a diagnosis. All right, FSU says stuck at 80, keep getting denied on new claims. Any advice? Yeah, the same thing I just talked about, the 5-step process. There's a whole video on that. There's a whole video on the 5-step process, and the whole playlist on one-on-ones. Watch any of those, you'll understand the process, and then replicate that on your own situation. E. Brown J, can sleep apnea be secondary to major depression and anxiety? Yes, it can, and that's a very common secondary for mental health. The issue is the service connection for secondary sleep apnea is not so common. So it depends on correlating factors. And the question is, how many correlating factors do you have? What's your evidence to show cause that your mental health conditions is leading to your sleep apnea? That's the question. All right. Benny DeMarble says 70% IU mental health. Okay, congrats to you. Never went to sit call. Should I submit for VA diagnosed GERD, IBS, and migraines, or not poke the bear and wait for P&T? So completely your choice, okay? I'm going to assume those are secondaries, and I would caution anyone poking the bear, which I hate that phrase to begin with, but let's just go with it. Looking at secondaries only, okay? Because it's not as clear-cut as other claims, especially when we're talking about secondaries of mental health. And I assume that's what you mean by GERD, IBS, and migraines. That's just my 2 cents, and I'm saying that without looking at your evidence, okay? Jay Free says, my migraines wake me up and causes insomnia around 2, a few times a month, but they get better before work. I can't call out all the time, but no sleep affects my job performance. Is that still enough for 50%? Maybe, okay, maybe. You said there's a frequency in there. You said a couple times, a few times a month. So first, are you diagnosed? Do you take medication? What's your treatment for migraines? Okay. And 2, what's your frequency? You said a few times a month, but what is it really? Okay. Now, your migraines affecting your work? The answer is yes. That's the answer. I would personally like to see hard medical evidence versus a self-report. So if you're not on treatment, get treatment, okay, and start that process. Yeah, Chris, still here. I'm on the West Coast, dude. All right. Ban the crooked blue line. Okay. Just subscribe. Love your channel. Hey, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, Robert Striegel says, checked on my claim, said need from me, VHA outpatient treatment records, 1071. Is this something I need to do? Yeah, if the VA is reaching out to you to complete a form, the answer is yes. Okay, now I don't know what that one is specifically. 7131. Oh, rehab. If they're asking you for a form, then complete it. But it seems like exchange of beneficiary. Okay, let's just look at this real quick. Oh, claims folder. Okay. Yeah. All right. Chris, I have no idea, to be honest with you. I assume it's somewhere, but I can't see what you see. Here, let me go to Veterans Info tab, actually. I'll go to Veterans Info tab and see what it looks like. I assume it's the same, so. High value dollar claims, all right. Yeah, so it looks there to be a join button, and that's what you click. I assume. Yeah, join. All right, cool beans. Okay. Kellyanne says already completed first set of CMP exams, and they turned in the DBQs. Still have a few more exams. Will VA wait until all your CMP exams before waiting claims they have info on? Depends. Okay. It absolutely depends. Generally speaking, no, unless you're talking like they already have a decision for your claims and your other ones they can't make a decision on. That's when claims start getting deferred. It's not a big deal though. Okay. Okay. Let's look at, yeah, if Chris is being stupid, he's trolling. He's a good friend of mine. don't sweat it. Chris, don't be dumb. Okay. Ali88, what's your opinion on the company AME for Nexus letters? I don't even know who that is. Okay. Now I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I mean, I've never spoken to them, okay, at all. I don't know what kind of medical professionals they have. Let's just take a look. It looks very corporate-y, like a big company. I'm not going to give my opinion because I don't know. But a medical professional is a medical professional. That I can tell you. I see that now. I'll tell you this. The post I made earlier about the $5,600 charge was from that company. Okay, I just put that together. Synopsis, not a fan. Does that make me right? No, it does not. Okay. All right, RG, welcome to the channel, brother. Thank you for being a member. I appreciate it. Members, if you type in the chat, you know, I try to answer your questions. I'm traveling, Larry, for work, my real job. That's why I'm in my my slave suit right now. But for members, I have 2 videos on here for members only. One is what I'm rated for and what evidence I use for that. And 2 is a video that if you comment on, like, hey, can you make a video on whatever, then I'll make a video on it, right, to try and serve the those that support, at least more than I do now. Okay, my claim for my C file shows it was closed on March 15th. Any idea I should receive it? Generally speaking, it's within the month, okay? Generally speaking, it's within the month. And holy baloney, Gus Jimenez, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I don't know what to say because it makes me feel awkward. The Big Smackaroo $50 donation. You have my full attention, brother. Okay? All right. Oh, by the way, I got hair, in case you're wondering. Someone said that they think I'm bald. I'm not. Okay. Clay, I was stuck at 90 after 3 denials, finally awarded about 60%, or finally awarded GERD 60%. Solid. Absolutely solid rating. GERD, secondary to 30% sinusitis. I'm finally 100% PNT. Oh, dude, that just changed my whole mood. Thank you very much, Gus. Seriously, dude, thank you. Congrats to you. I hope that, relaxes the financial burden on your life. I'll tell you this, GERD, secondary to sinusitis, isn't as common, so good on you. If you used a medical opinion for that, I would be very interested in seeing that. If you want to redact the information and send it to me via email, I would absolutely love that. Subject line, GERD, secondary to sinusitis. I would love to see that. If not, no big deal. I learned a lot from watching your videos. My wife thanks you, Gus. Well, Gus, I thank you too, okay? Seriously, man, that's awesome that you're 100% PNT. And thank you for the donation. I appreciate it, for real. Seriously, I like to see the work come bear fruit. Thank you for the comment, dude. Seriously, appreciate it. Okay, now that I don't feel weird anymore, let's get back to answering questions. Bill Dunn. Hey Clay, I'm rated 20% LF and 30% RF for left foot, right foot for frostbite. Okay, solid ratings. That's diagnosis sucks, I can tell you that, but solid ratings. Can I also file for neuropathy in both feet? You can, absolutely you can, for sure. Okay, for sure. Severe foot conditions are a solid foundation. There's a pun there, but for secondaries, okay? Absolutely, yes. JP, if you have a claim that gets you to 100, but then there's other pending ones, do you get the retroactive pay if they give you a rating for those? Yes, solid question. I'm gonna try and explain this without confusing anyone, although I think it's gonna confuse everyone, okay? Also, if you're watching this, hit the dang like button, I'd appreciate it. Let's say January, and we'll use last year, not this year. January of 23, you have an intent to file and you're rated at 50%, okay? You submit 10 claims and 5 of those are awarded 100%, okay? Boom, you're now 100%, but you have 5 more deferred claims. Depending on the evidence and the effective date of those claims, for instance, if for some reason it would be prior to January, then the VA would give you the back pay from whatever date this is prior to January up to January, right? So the answer to your question is yes, it just depends on effective dates. That is number 1. Yeah, thank you, Outlaw, appreciate that. Hit the dang thumbs up. Okay, Korea 99. I have a virtual CMP exam for anxiety tomorrow. Any difference from an in-person exam? No, it's not. Now, you were denied for anxiety before, so I'm going to assume you did a supplemental claim and you submitted new relevant evidence. So the question, what's in question isn't your symptom severity. What's in question is your service connection. So whatever your evidence that ties your anxiety to service or your anxiety to a primary service-connected disability, that's what you need to really, really, really harp on, okay? Everyone talks about like going to the CMP exam and talk about the worst day of your life, which has some truth to it. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but that's not most important by any means. Because what's first is service connection. You need to talk about how this condition is linked to service, or linked as a secondary. And then comes the symptom severity. Okay, so don't forget about service connection. All right, Dennis Berry, I would like to help vets like you. How can go about becoming an advocate? Well, apparently, there's a nonprofit that is basically a claims consulting company, but they do it for free, apparently. I'm gonna look into that, for real. And if that is a thing, that nonprofit will have my full attention. Okay, now I'm gonna do my due diligence before I start broadcasting that out. But I'm going to, that's the plan, okay? That's the plan. If I can help support that mission and drive volunteers to that mission, 1,000,000,000% that's what I'm gonna do, okay? Without even thinking about it. Assuming it's a good organization. That part means a lot, at least to me. All right, Grace Smith. If I've been retired since 04 and have tinnitus, will they deny me if I submit secondaries under the new changes? No, that won't be a reason for denial, okay? Because one, the changes aren't final, they're proposed, they don't have an effective date at all. So if you are gonna file, you need to do it now, okay, with evidence. Wolfgang S. If I submit for migraine secondary to anxiety and depressed mood, will the examiner just evaluate my migraine claim or also reevaluate my anxiety disability? So more probable, just the migraine. Technically speaking, can the VA warrant both? The answer is yes. It's not likely though, okay? It's definitely not likely. But I can't say that without looking at your evidence for myself. All right, Rick Gasper, served 8292, have symptoms of sleep apnea, never heard of sleep study other than statements, how do I make the service connection? I'm now diagnosed with a CPAP. Great shows with Jay, thank you. Awesome. Okay, so, whoa, that was very loud. If you don't have a sleep study in service, especially from 30 to 40 years ago, you're gonna have to go secondary. Based on this comment, it's not looking good, okay? I wanna know what your correlating factors are. Direct is probably not an option. You're gonna have to go secondary. So what are you service connected for? 1. 2, what correlating factors do you have? Were you around burn pits, which is a maybe there towards the end of your career, maybe? Were you around toxins, exposure? I've seen sleep apnea twice be connected via TERA exam, meaning exposure to toxins linked to sleep apnea. I've seen it connected twice, okay? It's not common, but it does happen. So the answer is yes, but we need to know your evidence, okay? Now, can you submit the claim? Sure, go for it. William Segri says, if your favorable finding says that you have a diagnosis, but your claim was denied due to no complaints in service, would it be better to build evidence and file a secondary claim? Yes, and technically speaking, it would be a supplemental claim with secondary service connection, but the answer to that is yes. It absolutely is what you're forced to do. Okay, but to keep in mind, it's still a supplemental claim. It's not it's a supplemental claim that's going for secondary service connection. Sean Britt says, in my favorable findings on my lumbosacral strain and bilateral knee strain, I was diagnosed with those conditions. Does that count as a current diagnosis? Yes. I was just missing a Nexus or something else. Yeah, so you're probably missing the inserts vent, which absolutely sucks, and therefore you're also missing the Nexus. So you're probably missing both of those. So you need to do one or two things. One, get evidence from service to combat that reasoning. And so generally speaking, examiners will look at medical evidence as they're supposed to, but they won't look at evidence other than medical. So I have a friend who had both knees denied because they had no medical evidence. They also had 5 or 6 combat deployments as an infantryman. They were able to use job duties and responsibilities and experiences while deployed, being in the infantry as doing foot patrols, as evidence other than medical, right? So that same concept, apply it to your situation, and if not, look at secondaries, okay? Now secondaries, we just hit 100 likes, by the way. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Now secondaries aren't just, don't get me wrong, it's not just file secondary, everything will be okay. They're difficult, especially with other musculoskeletal conditions, so you're gonna need evidence indicating the connection. Hey Clay, I see the VA for all my health stuff. Is it okay to set appointments looking for diagnosis with them? Should they be avoided? It's okay. Okay. When it comes to VA healthcare, your healthcare team in general, my recommendation is be transparent, okay? If you're looking for a diagnosis, talk to your healthcare team, right? If you're having treatment for something at the VA, there is an SCT code. I don't know what that stands for, but it's basically a treatment code, okay? That's there, and that will suffice as a current evidence for your current diagnosis, as far as VA claims go. Bama Black 79, if you have radiculopathy in both legs, is it considered bilateral service-connected disability? Yes, assuming it's service-connected, but yeah, you'll get the bilateral, one per leg. Do I need a buddy statement for tinnitus? No. The Asiatic, I plan to claim GERD secondary to PTSD. Will that open up my PTSD rating also? It could. Generally speaking, it won't, but it technically could. Okay. Keep that in mind. All right, Matthew Kempf, thank you very much. I appreciate the donation. Says connected for lumbar and thoracic pain. Recently, so spine pain. Recently had to get a cervical disc replacement. That's in your neck, okay? So the entire spine. Possible to claim it secondary to those other back issues? Yes, it is possible, Matthew. The question is, what led to your cervical disc replacement, right? So if you have let's just talk about competing evidence real quick. If you had a one-time incident that led to your neck injury, obviously that's the cause and not your other back conditions. But if that's not the case, and you do have evidence indicating that your cervical spine stems from, or that condition stems from your other conditions, yes, absolutely. Anthony CEO says, I'm moving to the Philippines in 3 months because I'm broke. How is it going to affect my ability to process my claim? It's going to affect it for sure, okay? But I have a fan of this channel, a veteran who was battling the system in the Philippines and was finally awarded 100% P&T. So it's possible, okay? But it would be wrong to say the Philippine VA system is as good as it is in the States, because that's not true, but it's definitely possible. Okay. TJ, my fully developed claim for new increase has been ready for decision since January 8th. What's a reasonable time? If you've been in PFD, prep for decision, notification, since January 8th, I would start making the calls. Wow. If you submitted that claim on January 8th, just relax. It'll go through the process. All right, Christine June says, can you guys do a video on less known VA disabilities such as urinary frequency? Absolutely, that's a solid idea, okay? Lesser known VA disabilities, for sure. I'm gonna write that in my notes. I'll be right back, okay? Be right back. I'm back. Thank you very much. That's a solid idea. I absolutely can. All right. Grace Smith says, requested from Middle Tennessee for my DD-214 because the one I got at discharge doesn't include the first 4 years of service, but they claim they don't have it. What do I do? Already FOIA'd archives. That was going to be my recommendation. Just got to kind of wait for that request. I've currently, Christine said, I've currently filed for urinary frequency, secondary cervical strain, DDD, and you'd be surprised how it might connected to neurological conditions. Yeah, so that's a common secondary of the spine, actually, is bladder conditions, and I'm saying that blanketly. So it's there, it's possible, okay? I would also look at competing evidence for that condition, though, too. All right, okay. YouTube says, I'm already 100%, but can I still reclaim stuff they denied before because of the PACT Act and get back pay? That boat has sailed, YouTube. You could have done that. What was the extension date? January, like September of 23? August of 23? Regardless, that ship has sailed. So the answer is yes, you can submit more claims. I really wouldn't recommend it personally, but you could. Michael, hey Clay, sent you an email about my wife potentially helping you with audiologist. Ooh, awesome. Actually, let me star that because I know I had mentioned it. I just didn't catch your email. I'm gonna have to audiologist husband. Can you Yep, here it is. Okay, I'm not gonna read it right now. I do see it. Let me just make sure it's saved. Okay, got it. I will respond. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Bum ba bum 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 ba bum bum. Okay, PSI says, when the VA says they already have sufficient evidence for claims and no CMP is needed, is that just short for denied? Not quite, okay? Resubmitted a bunch of increases and new things out of 19. Okay. You submitted 19 increases, which is a lot, okay? Not saying it's impossible, just saying it's very uncommon. But to answer your question, the answer is yes, no. The VA will schedule a CMP exam when it's warranted, okay? They won't when it's not. That can go both ways. So if you have fully developed claims, it's a truly fully developed claim, no CMP exam is warranted, you'll be awarded the claim fairly fast, okay? Now, those conditions that have increases could also be roped into the same CMP exam. For instance, lower back, neck, and nerve damage in your sciatic nerve, and nerve damage in your arms. All of that would be one. Okay, YouTube. The answer now, since you have the intent to file, the answer is yes. Okay, that answer is yes. And if you have the current diagnosis, go for it. If you don't have the diagnosis, don't. If you have the diagnosis, absolutely go for it. All right, Jamie Gonzalez says, I'm still waiting on a decision. If I get 100% but not permanent in total, what do I need to do? First, I would recommend that you don't. Yeah, Angela, thank you very much for being a member. Thank you for being a mod. I appreciate that. I wouldn't sweat it, Jamie, about PNC or not, because it's not something you can control. But in that instance, you would have to find out which disabilities you have aren't static, which as of right now is probably not going to be the case. You'll be fine. But let's just assume that you aren't. get your rating code sheet and start gathering evidence for that condition staying the same or getting worse. Okay. Yeah, you too. Appreciate it. All right. Dre and Rich says, I got notification to attend my CMP exam Thursday for the following week. Sad part is it was during the Christmas season. Call the VA to reschedule to cancel the entire exam, never rescheduled it. Yeah, I would just call the VA, ask them what's up with that claim, and see if they can reschedule that CMP exam. Or I would also call the exam company and ask them just straight up, saying, "Hey, can we get this rescheduled?" Tim Fee with a $20 donation. It's that time. I'll answer that question here in a second. Okay. I have documentation that I tore my meniscus in the Navy. I have a knee replacement now. Ortho doctor wrote me a Nexus I submitted last October. I filed GERD because of, with Nexus from Dots. Sounds very favorable. Just off of this comment alone, it sounds like a very favorable claim, especially your knee replacement. That one seems a bit stronger. But yeah, based on this comment alone, man, I think you're in a great spot. And I'm curious as to the outcome of this. I'm going to assume you've already had your CMP exams for this. If not, I would start making some calls. But yeah, seems good. It's that time. I just put a video out on what's the fastest way to get your rating code sheet. And that was... I'll tell you the title in the day I did that. Yeah, three days ago. It says, this is the title, fastest way to get your rating code sheet. Okay, so check that out. Okay. Bum, ba, bum, bum. More questions. Billy Dunn says, Clay, I'm currently, okay, we answered that one. Gavin Butler, I have 2 ongoing new claims. Does filing a FOIA delay the process? No. Soko Mao did a home sleep study through PCP, primary care physician, was issued a CPAP, got a Nexus letter since I got out in 97, going secondary to rhinitis, and also private DBQ. Do you think I'll get that 50%? There's no way for me to even give an opinion on that. I hope the best for you, okay? Now, rhinitis being a respiratory condition seems solid, okay? And your primary care, assuming they've seen you for a long time, that seems pretty solid, right? So it seems like a decent claim, but I can't give an opinion on that, man. Okay, I was finally diagnosed with palindromic, I'm not even gonna try. Been going on since Iraq in 2010, and 3, that word, didn't know what was going on until the VA just gave me a diagnosis, taking meds for life. Yeah, that sucks. If it's from service, absolutely submit the claim. This dude says, what do you think about Asian? Just stupid spam comments, okay. Asian food's pretty good, had some today actually. All right, do I need to wait for a rating on PR to claim secondary mental health, or can I file both at once? You can file both at once. I'd recommend that if you have the evidence, okay? The only time I would recommend submitting a initial claim and a secondary at the same time is if you have the evidence. Sarah P says, our secondary conditions easier to obtain than primary ones. That answer is no every single time, okay? Why? Because evidence from service is strong. If you have evidence from service, that is how you get service connected. And I'm very serious about that, okay? So primary disabilities are always easier than secondary, always. Assuming you have evidence in service. That evidence and service piece is the golden ticket. Seriously, it's the golden ticket to you being service connected. Okay. The issue is Well, what do you do if you don't have evidence from service? That's where you start tripping up. That's where most veterans trip. Otis says, what are my thoughts on supplemental claims? Primal Cajun, I'll get to you next. Thank you for being a member. So supplemental claims, solid, okay? I see a lot of veterans submit personal statements in a supplemental claim, assuming that'll win them the service connection, which it probably won't if I'm looking at odds. So when it comes to supplemental, you need new and relevant evidence. Generally speaking, you'll see opinions go a long way. Private opinions go a long way in supplemental claims, and that's just my 2 cents on that. But I mean, it's good. Okay, Primal Cajun, thank you for being a member. I appreciate that. QTC called today for CMP, very nice, and also gave me phone number and email in case I need to reschedule the appointment. They needed a 3-way X-ray for chronic sinusitis. Is this new? I just had a CT scan. So I would, if you have your CT scan, I would make sure you give that to the company. There's a way to upload evidence to QTC themselves and bring that with you to your exam. But if that's what the examiner wants to do, then I would do it. Okay. So yeah, absolutely, I would do both, personally. All right, Scott Fueler says, in '96, I had a sinus surgery that resulted in spinal nose. The surgeon, a colonel, said it healed itself. You'll be fine. A year and a half later, hole reopens. Yeah, it sounds like you have a pretty simple claim for direct service connection, resulting in brain infraction, coma, loss of military service. I'm at 90% plus, however, is there anything I can do legally? Was told 98 that I could not sue the Army. Oh, that I don't know, okay? Now, I know that's something called a tort claim. I'm not going to give legal advice on suing the Department of the Army. Consult with a lawyer, okay? I'm more concerned about those being service connected. All right, it sounds like 100% ratings to me personally, just based off this. That's what I'm concerned with. But if you want to go that route, I would speak to a lawyer, and I would never take legal advice from anyone that's not a lawyer, ever, under any circumstance, especially your friends. Okay. I'm at 40%, 2 shoulder surgeries. I'm in pain constantly, can't sleep well, and scars that hurt. My back now hurts from using my right for everything. Can I link my back? You can, but it seems, based on this, it seems like a weak connection, okay, from your shoulders. Not saying it's impossible, just saying it's weak. Now, depending on what your surgery is and your cervical spine, that's probably better. Right? At least it's more logical to me, at least. But sure, you can. I would prefer you get evidence indicating that your back, and I'm going to assume you mean your cervical spine, is linked to your shoulder surgeries specifically. That's what I would do. Your scars can be rated. If you have nerve damage, that can be rated. And it seems like you have pretty severe shoulder conditions. So I'm curious as to what your individual ratings for your 2 shoulders are. Matt says, if you're 100% P&T and you pass away, do your dependents get any part of your benefits, or you have to be rated for 10 years? Yeah, the P&T mark is 10 years, okay? Now, if you pass away to a service-connected disability, the answer is yes. So, for instance, if you have hypertension and you pass away from a heart condition, as long as hypertension is listed on the death certificate as a cause of, the answer is yes. And there are many scenarios, that's just one of them, okay? But yeah, blanketly, 10 years would be the safer route. Sinombre says, can PTSD be presumptive? The answer is no. Or does it need to be diagnosed before CMP? It's got to be diagnosed, period. I recommend it's diagnosed prior to the CMP exam, but it's not presumptive, okay? And it can be diagnosed during the CMP exam. I'm never going to recommend that. I heard the 55-year-old rule does not apply to the VA. Is this true? That's wrong. 1,000,000,000% times 100 infinite is wrong, okay? The 55-year rule is the 55-year rule, and that's it. Outside of like cancers, you know, the re-examination CFR code, whatever it is, it's like 397 or something like that, says unusual circumstances, and that's paraphrased, okay? So, meaning, if you're 55 years and older, don't worry about it. And if you got cancer, just know once the cancer goes away and it's in remission, it'll be rated as is. Okay, I'll probably do 5 more minutes of questions, guys, until 5:15 West Coast time, Pacific. Tucking FIPO. That's so funny, dude. Good name. Have you heard of the Legacy Act for judge hearings? Yeah, that's long past, dude. Long past. Vinny says, Clay, I used you, brother. Okay. And Reddit, awesome. The Reddit is easy to navigate at 80%. Just migraine ACE exam. I have mental health ACE on April 9th. Got to get the 100. Thank you for all your help. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. And the Veterans Benefits Reddit is awesome. Okay. VA Secretary press conference today. I know the VA did have a press conference, and I was not able to stream it. I usually do, but I was working, so I'm gonna have to watch it. I haven't seen it yet. Said that if all the things being claimed are not addressed, that the claim is still open. By statement, if all was not addressed on a closed, it's not closed. I'm going to need context for that one. I think I know what you're saying. I don't assume something, but I will definitely watch that. That I can tell you about it. Okay? All right, TR says, question, if I had hernia in 2012 repaired during OEF, never really felt right since, always limiting activities, pain, PT, would current treatment be? You need a current diagnosis, but if you have a current diagnosis, then you obviously have medical records from service, I would submit the claim. Don't even think about anything else, okay? Outside of that, don't think about anything else. Evidence from service, current diagnosis, submit the claim. That's it. There's no reason to overcomplicate the process. And that goes for any claim, okay? The GOAT says, Clay, I'm currently filing my BDD claim. Awesome. Congrats to you. Is it okay to submit my digital medical records or need the CD? Yes, you're going to have to. It's okay to go digital. All right. Yes, you need to, actually. But yeah, you're fine. Now, ideally, you're using a VSO for BDDs. You don't have to. I highly recommend it. But you don't have to, okay? Make sure you do a separation health assessment, the SHA, right? Which is basically your final physical. The VA is going to require that for a BDD. So, STRs, your service treatment records, the SHA, separation health assessment, and then your DD-214 when you have it. And on top of STRs, I'm going to add your dental records as well. All right, Kellyan, again with the donation and a patron and a member. Dude, the trifecta. Thank you very much, Kellyan. I appreciate that very, very much. I got 2 minutes and I'm hopping off here. So I'll see if I can do like a rapid fire thing and get some questions answered. All right, any info on when they will change mental health schedule? No. I had a judge hearing and they canceled it because of the way they filed it was considered legacy way. Not sure what I should do. You gotta wait. I know that sucks, dude. Why is my thing jacked up right now? Hold on. I have to look at this dude's Robert De La O. Okay, I'm a 20%. I'm going to read from my computer right now. My phone's acting weird. I'm a 20% veteran. I have decision claims for secondary conditions and a supplemental and HLR informal conference. On the HLR, what do I need to do when I receive the call? Talk to him. That's it. talk to them about why that condition is service connected. You're going to have to use evidence. You can't just say it is. You're going to have evidence. Most HLRs concede with a prior decision, okay? So off the bat, statistically speaking, you're going downhill, okay? So you have to bring or use evidence that you submitted with your claim to argue your position, and that's it. All right, Ellison Jackson, I have a pending TDIU claim. I was rated 70% PTSD granted last June. I was also found mentally disabled by Social Security. All right, seems like you have a pretty decent argument. Last question, guys. Thank you very much for joining the stream. I appreciate it. Here's the last question I'll answer. Because of Terra exposure asbestos, they denied my claim, never claimed that only question they wanted answered. So something's wrong here, okay? Terra requires an opinion, so they didn't deny you because of Terra. They denied you because of the opinion that your condition wasn't linked to toxic exposure, first. Two, when it comes to denials, no one can give you advice without seeing your decision letter. Okay, first I can't say anything. But yeah, I guess that's a bad question to end on. Okay, but with that said, thank you very much. I definitely appreciate everyone. I got a one-on-one coming up. If you want a one-on-one, there's a video I have for drawing. I'll put this hat on. I got some crazy stuff happening. If you share my videos and you screenshot it and you send it to me in an email, that's how you enter into the one-on-one drawing, okay? So if you want one, go for it. If not, don't. That's fine. But the first one is today. It's not going to be live. It's recorded because my main concern is protecting PII. Hobson, I'll tell you this, man. Ask your question right now, and I will give you an answer, but no one else, okay? I'm going to hop off. I got to prepare for this meeting, and then get a little snacky snack, too. So, Hobson, ask your question. You got about, like, 2 minutes, brother, okay? Ask your question. What do you got? To everyone else, thank you very much for joining the stream. I appreciate it. Can you get vertigo secondary to migraines? Maybe. Okay? Maybe. It absolutely depends on your evidence. I will tell you from my knowledge, which is not an audiologist or an ENT, the connection is there, but not as solid as you would like. Okay? So you really see migraines and vertigo when it comes to like patients or veterans that have like TBI or micro TBIs. But looking at a solid migraine or vertigo secondary to migraines, off the bat, you're on an uphill battle. I'm not saying it can't be service connected. It absolutely can. I just want to give you the straight up answer, okay? So the answer is maybe. You might want to talk to an ENT or an audiologist about that one. Okay. Hey, Spirited. I did some work with the Brits, the Royal Marines, both in Afghan and in Syria back in my heyday. So awesome. Welcome to the stream. All right, that's all I got. Okay, thank you very much for the stream, for questions. Without questions, there is no live stream. Okay, so if there's added value, hit the like button. If not, go on by. All right, that's all I got. Thank you very much. Stay golden and hit me up on Veterans Daily. It's mine and Veterans Info Tap joint channel.